Welcome. I'm Nick Edgar.
And I'm Jess Frost.
And we are the co-founders of the 3E Space. This is our podcast. Have you got space for this?
An unscripted and unplanned podcast dedicated to curious, messy, and imperfect conversations about the human experience.
Each week we will pick a topic at random that you, the audience, has said, I'd love to see Jess and Nick explore this topic. So without further ado, grab yourself a cuppa, let's explore, get energised and feel empowered together.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. We did that last time. Hello. Hello.
We did.
How are you doing?
I know, it's another episode. Okay, full disclosure, my nervous system is just calming down because this is a different time to when we've normally kind of booked in, and it's just as rush hour starting. So I have a time part. My time part was getting nervous about getting here on time. And then I realised about 5 minutes before we got here that I hadn't bought the little USB stick that we anyway, without going into too much detail, I got into a right flap, didn't I?
Should we breathe?
But no, I'm actually really looking forward to this as always.
I love it.
I'm fully into 2025 as well, and I'm excited for today. How about you?
So, right now, I'm feeling really good. I talked about last time, January has felt really nice and nourishing and energising more than anything, and loving dry January. But yesterday, in fact, let's say the last 48 hours, I can only describe as like the full spectrum of a human emotional experience.
Tell me more.
Where like 1 minute, I'm like coaching my one-to-one clients and I'm coming off and I'm absolutely buzzing and I'm like just looking at nature and just seeing the glimmers and like enjoying dry January, getting up, doing my breath work, doing my journaling, doing the things that I know keep me feeling really good and really on it. And then something would happen, like I'd get a phone call or something else would, trigger, activate something. And I was literally like in the bath yesterday, snot crying, tapping. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm okay. I'm safe. And guttural tears. And actually, in the moment when I'm in it, I do feel powerless and helpless sometimes. But it has been a reminder of, I think I fought and I think I resisted the human experience for a long ass time. Of just like that, that's actually very normal. That, like you say, 1 minute you're feeling really great, you're really excited to come here, and then the next you're sat in traffic and
Yes.
you feel like a completely different person. And I think, again, allowing myself to kind of release the grip and release the stories and just go, it's shit. And the old me would have 100% texted you and gone, I think I want wine tonight because it's been a shit day.
Yeah.
And like pizza and numbing out with Netflix. Like the pizza happened and the chocolate. But I ended up just chilling out with you and watching Bob Mortimer and Paul Whitehouse go fishing.
That's our nervous system regulator in TV form at the moment, isn't it? Like, it really is.
Ooh, so true, sir. No, it is. It's my favourite thing. It's my current church.
Love that. But there is something about being able to express intense emotional moments. If you can't do it in exactly that moment, but as soon as you can, because it does clear it out and you can just move on.
Yes, I was actually mentioning to you on the way here that what I've started to notice, I've been really intentional about noticing the sensations and feelings that I'm having in my body. And I noticed when I went on social media, there was like a couple of posts, and I didn't realise it in the moment, but a couple of posts I now know that activated something in me. Often it's like an inferiority, or I say something wrong, or I'm not good enough. And I was able to like notice, okay, there's this like intense feeling in my stomach, and I'm just going to be with it and I'm going to breathe into it. And it just passed.
And but isn't it incredible how quickly it does pass? Like an animal shaking in the wild, when we can actually recognise that we've been activated and sit with it, but not attach to it, not make it mean something bigger, more long lasting, something that needs to be fixed, dealt with.
Yeah.
Like actually just try and allow yourself the privilege and the freedom to be it. So we've definitely, I get you, man. It's kind of
humaning. It's been humaning.
I know, that's like off the back of last week almost, isn't it? That is a big part of what healing together is for us. Allowing ourselves the privilege and the freedom to have these moments, especially in each other's company, and allow the other person to hold it. So we won't then, as recovering people pleasers, codependents, try and step in and fix it or take responsibility for it. That's really important as well.
It's proud of us as well, like what we did yesterday. You're out and about, I'm in the house, and there's a risk that there's going to be an update that might actually not be well received. So we agreed to tell each other when we were separate.
Yes.
So we could have our own emotional experience, because sometimes we find ourselves in conflict where we are both finding out something or both reacting to something in the same moment, and it just kind of ricochets.
Well, it does, because we're different people. We have
And
different
highly sensitive
processes. Yeah, and exactly. But before this does become part two...
No, but I think it's important check-in.
It is important checking, of course it is. But I'm just saying, like,
Let's get
before
into
it becomes part two.
Let's get
I think we
into
should,
the
get the
bowl.
bowl of curiosity out.
You can pick, sir.
Thank
Would
you
you
very
like
much.
it, sir? Sir?
I knew that was Paul.
Literally rubbing off on me. Ooh, sir,
Just
would you
90s.
like an orange post-it, sir?
90s inappropriateness. Happiness and contentment. Like those two themes. This comes from George. Thanks, mate. Like, we had a conversation about this about a year and a half ago on an Encourage. Big up, Encourage.
Tell the team what Encourage is and what you guys do.
So, look, Encourage is an incredible organisation, kind of formed out of November and sort of off the back of lockdown. It's more, for me anyway, it's more than just about men's mental health. It's about, and suicide prevention, it's about impacting community and taking community from each other. It's about weekends away, which I'm privileged to be a part of and help facilitate, where men can come together from all walks of life and spend a bit of time reflecting on vulnerability, on values, on vision, and thinking about purpose and about how you may be able to go back into your communities and your settings. That might be a sports club, it might be a workplace, and actually have an impact. And George is one of the guys I met on the very first one I attended, actually, back in the summer of 23. So I'm immensely proud to be associated with that amazing organisation. Big up Jacob and all the men from Encourage.
Big up Encourage. And thank you for this topic. So, happiness, do you want to start? Happiness and contentment. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, I think just we can go into the definitions of what we think they mean, and maybe there's some value in doing that without a doubt. To pick up from, say, the conversation that I had with George, that it can be easy to get caught up in a quest for happiness.
Yeah.
Life is about happiness, about attaining happiness, about attaining, being happy. And it sparked a conversation about, well, I think for me as an older man, if I'm striving for anything in terms of an emotional kind of goal, if you like, I think contentment. And contentment for me can mean a number of different things. But for me, it's about kind of happiness of purpose. And what that means is that can mean any one of a different emotion at different times. So really, I suppose the question I would throw back to you when I think about happiness and contentment is sort of, is a quest for happiness maybe setting ourselves up to fail? But is contentment something which is potentially more tangible and attainable? And but bearing in mind that both of those things probably isn't a permanent state of experience. In fact, it definitely isn't.
No, but maybe you can find contentment in the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
But happiness is like it's a bit like joy, like always on the quest for joy. Like that's gonna potentially lead to you feeling disappointed. But yeah, I think happiness, I'm not even sure if I like the term happiness.
How does it make you feel?
Fake.
Ah, okay, interesting.
I prefer when you said contentment, I prefer contentment. There's a part of me that's like absolutely loves being miserable and is like, oh, happiness, oh. Because it sounds really fluffy. And it's probably that pessimistic part of me that's like, yeah, right. But can you really be happy?
Being miserable.
Yeah. Bring it on. But no, so happiness, I think like if I think about, okay, when am I truly happy? I think it blends into joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really happy with pizza and choc and with my fishing program.
I think we should get pass me the emotions, Will, if it's easy for you to get to.
And this is where I think maybe my difficulty with happiness resides, because it's kind of sitting in the middle.
Yes.
And it's a bit too broad.
Yeah. So here we go. Our emotions wheel, one of our favourite tools, has some core emotions in the middle: happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, surprise, sad, fear. But spinning out from these core emotions, we have a whole range of nuances. So happiness can include emotions such as optimism or powerful or interested or inquisitive or loving.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that sits under there. So it would be the same if it was like, I don't know, sadness versus like fear, for example. Like,
Yeah.
I think anything that sits in there, we tend to get curious about, don't we? Yeah. So I think I'd bring that to this conversation without a doubt. Interestingly,
I've just thought of.
I just wondered if contentment's actually on here as an emotion or not.
You know, I
We're
just
being
thought of
curious
happy,
right now. What?
which I think relates to my bitterness, not bitterness, but like this part of me that's like,
Go on.
I used to have to sit in like, was it Sunday school or like an after school club and sing, I'm H-A-P-P-Y, I'm H-A-P-P-Y. Do you remember that one?
No, but I want to hear more of this song.
That little me's like this.
I'm really
You
interested.
on the pursuit of contentment?
Yeah,
quite literally.
I've gone from curiosity to obsession really quickly now. My partner needs to know. But anyway, I think it's. But maybe that just highlights my point, actually. And I can't remember if this was a point I had 18 months ago or not, to be perfectly frank. But if we accept that happiness is an emotion, but contentment isn't here, maybe contentment is that mix of emotions.
Yeah.
And some of which will sit in happiness, but maybe some of which sit in surprise. And maybe some of it does fit in fear. When I accept my fear, when I don't give my fears power over me, I don't give my power away to my fear, I can find contentment in that and growth, and the same with all these other emotions.
Yeah, I think it is. I think if I feel the pressure to reach a certain destination, let's say happiness, joy, that feels too much. But when I can break it down, and I think, yeah, contentment, if I tune into my body, if I say happy, I don't know, but yeah, contentment I feel really good with.
Yeah.
And I think we can find more contentment. And I mean like inner contentment.
Contentment feels to me like I have more choice over what that means to me.
It can be all
maybe,
of that.
yeah,
Exactly.
Whereas maybe happiness feels, at best for me, it's a moment that I can experience. but it's not necessarily something I can. If someone says to me, how am I? How is my life going? How do I feel about my life at the moment? I think I would be comfortable saying I feel pretty content at the moment.
Yeah.
If I said I'm feeling pretty happy at the moment,
I don't think I've ever said that.
I don't. No, I don't know if I have or not.
I'm good.
Certainly
I'm good. That's just my default.
We've been through that before,
Yeah.
without a doubt, like answering that question on
Yeah.
a good to bad scale, instead of maybe trying to name an emotion or two.
Where are you most happy, babe?
Where am I most happy? I think I am most happy in those fleeting moments. Like moments when, like last night when we were in bed, kind of, I'm just going to leave it there.
Fuck off.
No, but like Mouse was there and like there was calm
Mouse is
in
the
the
cat.
atmosphere, but it felt like all three of us were in a place where energetically it was really together and connected.
Yes. It was like in the present moment.
Yes.
Like we'd had a really like day, and yet we still found that pocket of just us three,
Yeah, it was beautiful.
and the world disappears. That's when I feel the most happy, and it's very finite, this amount of time that I get. It's growing, but I do think, and maybe it's the part of me, like as a COA, which I know I'll talk about on other episodes, of like not allowing that feeling of happiness, because I think there is such a hypervigilance and such a crisis aversion, like default in me, that actually joy, happiness, calm, peace, contentment is something that I'm still building resilience to and realizing I'm worthy of it. Maybe there's something about it being taken away.
I was just before you said that, that's literally what I was thinking, because you've explained this to me before, that almost when you allow yourself to sit in happiness, or for that matter, any one of a number of other positive emotions, this part comes up that is hypervigilant about when is this going to go wrong.
Yeah. I think literally that part, I can feel it. I like happiness is just a load of fucking bullshit. Maybe some people get it. Go them, fine, whatever. That's what it's like.
Yeah, I can imagine that's what that part sounds like.
Yeah, just like whatever. Yeah, okay, cool. Which is really sad. But yeah, I think it does tune into that like childhood, like, let's be happy. And maybe as a kid I was like, everything's not fucking happy.
Yeah, for sure.
So it feels maybe a bit forced. But I understand that for kids that's the easiest thing for them to tune into, and what in terms of that scale of emotions, you know.
When you just said that, when you said the word kids, I felt my inner child light up. I think that's a big part of it for me.
Yeah.
Happiness is that freedom to be present.
Yeah.
But maybe a freedom and a privilege to just be at play
I think so.
in some way, shape or form.
And that's why I had the resistance, because that's like my biggest wound, like my biggest gap is play and inner child joy and just being a kid. So that's it.
Yeah.
Boom. It's the attachment to childlike state and the word happiness.
Yeah.
Contentment's my more adult like energy that I'm finding now.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like I can get to know happiness now. Maybe that's what I'll attribute to like some of that childlike stuff.
Yeah. So there's a spontaneity about it, do you feel? Whereas contentment's maybe more a kind of a foundational building of a number of different things that are aligned with who you know yourself to be.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Bloody love it, mate.
I know. I'm gonna have a swig of tea.
You do it. This feels really happy. Do you want to be with us, right? We'll just have this moment of just
I think we've just created a moment of
sitting
happiness.
in just pure happiness and contentment.
I know. I was reminded of my Elvis story, don't you?
No.
When I was a small child, about tea. This is what my mind does. Like it does, like the 6 steps to Kevin Bacon thing. It's that it's not about connections with other people. It's about like connections to memory, and then suddenly I'm back in a memory. So when Elvis died, I have a memory of being in my parents' room, and I used to like have a swig of their tea, and And then I just had this memory of like my dad saying that, reading the paper, which he likes to do, saying that Elvis had died of drugs, and then I thought he said dregs, and I got like confused with like the dregs at the bottom of a cup of tea, and I wouldn't drink tea for like time as a small child because I carried that belief, and part of me probably had like a bit of like vigilance about my parents drinking tea as well because I just thought they might die if they drank tea. It's all just unpacking stuff on the pod right now.
Wow. When did you get through? When did you realise that was a belief to shed?
No, probably like still when I was single digit, like as a child. But I have all these these young memories, like really, really young memories, like toddler age, which I know I've spoken to you about before. We'll have to put that on in the bowl of curiosity at some point and share. Because I'm always fascinated, like with anybody that I cross paths with, is like, when is your earliest memory? Because for some people it seems to be kind of 4, 5, 6. When is your earliest memory? I'm going off topic a little bit here, but
I don't know what age I would have been. It's like I kind of have like sensory memories from our first house when I would have been a really small baby. I remember like the colourway in my bedroom and like music. So there was this beautiful classical song that came on some television program or something in adulthood, and I was like, whoa, it was like, this has a real core memory. And I sent it to my mum, and she was like, yeah, we used to play that to you to put you to sleep. So it's kind of more visual, audio
yeah, love that.
memories, textures. But then the memories after that tend to be when I've like made a mistake.
No, really?
Yeah. So like smashed like cow pole all over the floor, and then like on my little roller skates trying to get out my front door to roller skate down the street without asking for any adult help, and like put my little fingers in the door to kind of step out, and then with the other hand close the door on my tiny tiny fingers. I know. So yeah, just like, yeah, it's all like ones where I've made a mistake. And then my biggest one, these are all really tragic, by the way. I packed a bag to run away. And I've got this memory of like going down to the end of my road, and there was like a little wall with some trees, and I remember like with my little bag, like just sitting on the wall waiting for someone to come. Okay.
Oh,
so like
I'm really feeling that.
Sorry, right, we need to lift the mood. What are the jokes?
I was just literally reflecting on the old pair of curtains in a childhood bedroom that were Mr. Men curtains, but they were that dated that the sun had shone. They were white curtains with all the Mr. Men, but the sun had shone so much on it that all that was left of Mr. Messy was a pair of eyes, a smile, and a pair of boots. It used to terrify me.
We'd have loads of clowns. My sister's room was full of clowns, and they terrified me.
I know, it's mad.
But no, there was happy memories. There was happy memories, by the way. Lots of happy memories. But yeah, definitely my first memories, music. And I think it kind of, leans into like my love for music.
I love that. But look, I think we should circle back briefly to today's topic, happiness and contentment.
What was the happiest moment of your today?
The happiest moment of my today? I had 2 great coaching sessions, and both of them in different ways just lit me up. And I think one-to-one coaching is very special in that way, when the energy's right with both parties and there are breakthroughs and realizations, and that was more contentment. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Maybe that
the
was
blur,
more contentment. Maybe it was, but yeah, I'd definitely pick that out as the highlight for me. What about you?
Mine was catching up with Exhale. We did
beautiful.
a collaboration with Exhale Festival last year, and we did a couple of workshops, didn't we, and some group coaching, and we've been invited to be the kind of some of the core facilitators and coaching for this new online community, and we got to meet the beautiful creator and just have honest, frank, vulnerable conversations about what it's like putting your dreams and creations out into the world, how to manage the fear that comes up, how to manage being a deep, sensitive soul in this world. And it always just makes me come back to my why and to realize you're not alone. Sometimes it can feel like, oh my God, we've got each other. For other people, for other entrepreneurs and business owners, it must be like you're on an island. But to know that you are in it and anything's possible and you can kind of lift each other up and get excited together. Yeah, it's a community that literally launches end of this month, and we could kick off end of this month. So we will put it in the show notes because it's going to be a particularly special place that's going to be jam-packed with monthly workshops, with group coaching, and it's a space that I've not really seen before. The vibe is very much our vibe, so we're really excited to continue that collaboration. So
really
that
unique.
Was incredibly happy, and really content with the highs and the lows of business, because that is part of the process and releasing the grip. So let's hope there's more bloody happiness to come. I'm meeting my beautiful, courageous, confidence crew tonight for a breath work, so that's going to be amazing. And you just get to chill your beans without me, so enjoy.
I am going to chill my beans.
With maths.
Maybe.
Big love team.
Till the next one.
We'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening or watching this week's episode of Have You Got Space for This. If you're liking what you're hearing and seeing, please subscribe, rate or review the podcast so we can reach as many people around the world.
And if you're not already connected with us and are aware of everything we do at the 3E Space, in the show notes you will see all of our handles and ways to get in touch with us, which we'd really love you to do. Get connected with us, give us your feedback on this and any other episodes you listen to, and also topics. Keep giving us topics and stay connected. So until next time, thanks for being here.